Welkom by Agri Monitor. Hierso praat ons landbou. Legalizing rhino herd trade could fund conservation, curb poaching and make live rhinos more valuable than dead ones. Speaking at the Wildlife Ranching Namibia Information Day on Friday 8 August, Annette Oelofse praised Namibia's Black Rhino Custodianship Program and urged bold action ahead of the site's COP meeting coming up in Uzbekistan. Then, the Ministry of Agriculture plans to transform the Epalela aquafish farm into an integrated, combining aquaculture and crop production to boost food security in the Omusati region and Namibia, using nutrient-rich water from fish ponds to irrigate crops that feed the fish. The project aims to cut waste, create sustainable loop and strengthen local supply chains. Dan ons luister verder na Sarel du Toit van die Groep wat tydens die Agri Monitor vroeër vanjaar die Namibiese vleisbedryf in perspektief geplaas het. In die segment praat hy oor Namibië se internasionale markte en die verskillende faktore wat die vleisprys beïnvloed. En laastens kuier ons by Lombard Koch, ook tydens die Agri Monitor. Hy doen die program Ek wil boer en hy vertel hoe hulle met die reeks plaaslike boerderypraktyke reg oor Namibië uitlig, van oeste tot vee. Hy deel ook sy reis en hoe hy die program begin het om sy kennis oor boerdery te verbreed en ander te inspireer. In hierdie week se nuus, Amerikaanse hoenderprodukte mag weer na Namibië ingevoer word. Namibia has authorized US poultry imports starting 1 July 2025 after a 2020 ban because of avian influenza. This, according to a USDA media release, opens a market for them worth around $255 million for fresh, frozen and chilled poultry. The ban was lifted following updated disease control certifications by the USDA's Food Safety Service. Namibia's Ministry of Agriculture confirmed the approval is based solely on sanitary standards and not economic policy. Namibia maintains a monthly import quota of 1,200 tons to protect local poultry producers' market share. This quota system regulates how poultry imports are allocated among registered importers in Namibia. In 2023, Namibia imported about 1,275 tons of poultry products, far below its import quota allowance, which is about 14,400 tons per year. Most imports came as prepared poultry from South Africa, with lesser amounts of live and fresh poultry.
It's a privilege to be here, and thank you WRN for the invitation. I was a little bit surprised, and I'd just like to very quickly just share It is actually, I was invited to speak on the most controversial and yet critical conservation topic, and that is the legalization to trade in rhino horn. What has been done, where we stand today, and our way on to the CITES COP meeting at the end of November in Uzbekistan. So rhinos obviously are a biological treasure. They are part of our eco-chain, but they've also been a symbol of our conservation efforts, our successes, and also our failures. We researched unlimited articles consisting of scientific research, market research, cultural research, and even articles that are based on mathematical formulas. And the conclusion is most of them providing compelling evidence that legal trade, if properly regulated, will offer the lifeline for the rhino population and saving the species. Just a photo there. I just want to, this is just a very basic diagram which shows where we are today. So, oops, sorry, something went wrong. Where's your pointer? This one. It takes it away. So where we are today is on the right-hand side. We are the conservationists and the rhino breeder. We are totally in the red. We give everything. unlimited resources to protect, our lives at risk. Everything is in the red. Up there is the poacher, the syndicate. He kills the rhino, it's gone. He takes everything away, nothing goes to conservation. The second scenario, which is legal, limited trophy hunting. We can take the trophies out. So just a tiny little bit goes back into conservation. It doesn't even cover the expenses we have to protect. The rhino is dead. The hunter is a trophy collector, so he's just as much a collector as the rhino horn collector. He gets the benefit of taking the horn out. I'm sure nothing is controlled on the other side where he takes his horn and what he does with it. So what we're aiming for is this. We want everything in the green. We want to benefit so we can have the financial benefit for rhino conservation and to save the species. With that, we keep the rhino alive, and the horn collector is also taken care of. So we're aiming to go all to the green side. It's just in a nutshell, just to put it in a very basic, logic, understanding way. So that's where I just said limited trophy hunting and live exports are not a major threat to the species, but they also they don't save the species. It's just a little bit of income that comes in there. So that's why, in the end, legal horn trade could benefit rhino conservation of the species, and the only way forward which will transform the economics of rhino conservation. The value of live rhinos could increase over 100-fold when considering the horn's lifetime growth and its market value. This will also stimulate widespread local investment in rhino ownership. Sorry, just let me get this. Okay. So understanding the market, it's obviously the complex motivations behind rhino horn consumptions. That is the traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and as a luxury investment commodity. Studies confirmed that the TCM market often prefer legal, ethically sourced horn, and that is primarily due to the non-lethal harvesting and expectations of price stability. So this preference has the power to displace demand for poached horn significantly. The past has proven that trade bans have made the situation worse. So restrictions have inflated scarcity, leading to a speculative pricing bubbles. Rhino horn is a price inelastic commodity, which means people will pay whatever it takes. So prohibition has therefore failed. That means if legal trade, on the other hand, could be legalized, it'll probably stabilize prices. It'll satisfy ethical consumer preferences and thereby help shift demand away from the black market. How do we control and regulate? Rhoda's DNA profiling, which allows every horn to be uniquely identified, is mitigating the risk of illegal horn infiltrating the legal market. Effective enforcement and traceability mechanisms must also form part of any trade framework. Currently, it states that South Africa holds about 65 tons. So this topic is on supply and demand. 65 tons of rhino horn in stockpiles. And that is far more than the estimated 8 tons of illegally trafficked per year. So with routine dehorning and stockpiles release, legal markets could satisfy global demand without harming the wild population. There's obviously always counter arguments. So some critics argue that legalization could expand consumer markets and drive up the demand. However, in places like Vietnam, the social stigma around illegal horn is virtually non-existent. So legalization may simply shift buyers from the black market to the ethical sources without increasing overall use. And more importantly, rhino horn, like other luxury goods, will likely remain exclusive. So legal availability doesn't mean accessibility to all. Some critics also state that it is a privilege of just a few. And my answer to that is, we look after rhino because we love wildlife, but this is my cow and I invested in it 40 years ago. And if he chose to invest in a cattle cow and sell it every year, that was his choice. So now the benefits, if it becomes legal, is also, we also deserve the benefits for the legal trade. Oops. Okay, there's a growing, the ethical considerations, there's a growing preference for wild origin rhino horn, which encourages natural, ethical care of rhino populations. So any legal system must be tied to ethical standards. Namibia, for example, maintains world-class practices under the Controlled Wildlife Product and Trade Act of 2008. And this could be an opportunity not just for trade, but for leadership in ethical wildlife management. Just don't know where is my... Okay. So according to the free market principles, an increase in demand can incentivize supply as long as the profits go to support conservation. And our take on today, the biggest threat to wild rhinos isn't the consumer demand, it is the unsustainable cost of anti-poaching efforts. So the consumer demand is obviously a threat, but on the other hand, a lot of rhino owners are in the process of wondering, deciding, should we go on, because it's unsustainable, and with that, a lot of rhinos will go down the drain. So legal trade could help fund rhino protection, provide self-sustaining financial model, and placing the value back on the rhino. Today, the rhino has its dead value is more than alive, and we want to change that around, that our wildlife, alive rhino has the value again. Just back to that, which is very simple to understand. And so modeling the future, legal trade will benefit definitely the wild rhino population if supply meets demand. And like we all know, doing nothing is not working. Doing what has been done for the last 40 years is not working. So legal trade, we believe, will replace the illegal trade, and the key outcome will be rhinos live, money goes to those who protect, and to conservation of the species. So for now, this is the most pragmatic, data-driven hope we have to conserve the rhinos in the wild. The proposals for the consideration to amend the appendices at CITES have been submitted to CITES for the COP meeting in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. The government has submitted the proposal for the black rhino, and we have submitted the proposal for the white rhino. The reason not tying the two species into one proposal is they have to be treated on different merits. And I would like to also say, give a big thank you to Alex's wife, Carola. She's put the proposal together, a 20-page document, small writing, which has been submitted and also was sent to the government. The government copied and pasted it, changing their their numbers on the black rhino species, and I'm very proud that Carola's document was accepted the way she has put it together. So we're very privileged to have the full political will and same thinking regarding the legalization of rhino horn trade. And we are working hand in hand with our government, and I must really applaud our Ministry of Environment for going forward, for having the vision of what will save the species.
Right now it's Epalela aquaculture fishing, and this is really where the integration of farming activities can take place. What we'll be doing here immediately, we have incorporate crop production into this aquaculture farming activity. You have a ponds where fish is being produced, and it's already made in such a way that the water that is coming here with all the nutrients good for planting goes into these reservoirs. There is already a pump machine that takes water to the other side where there is a 3 hectare of land. So we can actually take that water into here, pump it and clear out that land immediately. It's another wind that will to come and clean up that 3 hectares. Then we'll start planting there. Plants that will become inputs into the fish feed. And then we mix them ourselves. The land is there, we mix it ourselves, and then we feed our fish and also give to communities, our small-scale farmers. So actually this is a very good integrated farming, and we would now like to put that one into practice. So we have the water, we have the fish. The water is giving some nutrients for the plant to the water. We take the water to the plant. The plants that will be putting into that 3 hectare land is the plants that will actually become inputs into the fish feed. I think this will be one of a good example. At the moment now, Mr. Hara said, what we hear is water that is being wasted.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water just going
In there, and that's
being
it.
utilized.
Not being utilized. Very good.
So,
Yeah, this one is, as I said, is a low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
Aitsa is 'n echt Namibiese inisiatief. Ons reis op die hartklop van Afrika en vertel stories van mense en hul dorpe op verskeie platforms insluitende televisie en sosiale media. Dit is joune, syne, julle en ook almal van hulle aan die ander kant van ons grense sinne, en dit maak van Aitsa 'n lekker ding. Kyk Aitsa Woensdae om 20:30 op NTV, oneup2.com, asook op Netwerk Media Hub en NTV Afrikaanse YouTube kanale. Volg ons op Facebook of besoek ons webwerf by aitsafrika.com.
Wat wel in Namibië, Willem, gaan maar af. Markte op hierdie stadium EU is primêr, lokaal, baie beperk. Amerika het is vinnig na gaan kyk, is daar geraak, is af. En dan die RSA en SADC. Dit is nou maar op hierdie stadium die markte waarin ons op hierdie stadium al ons vleis vat. Ek dink ons groot markte of ons groot potensiële markte en winsgewende markte lê nog steeds binne die Europese Unie. Baie van ons eilandgroepe, soos die Griekse eilande, die Franse eilandgroepe, is die areas waar ons definitief baie meer waarde kan ontsluit. Daar is baie meer werk daarin verbonde, maar aan die einde van die dag, met ons beperkte volumes, is dit markte waarheen ons baie sterk moet neig. Faktore wat pryse beïnvloed, op hierdie stadium nog steeds die markte, vraag en aanbod bepaal het. Ons het vinnig geraak wat gebeur in Suid-Afrika, daar is reeds verbruikersweerstand, en dan sien ons maar dat daar 'n groot mate van manipulasie plaasvind. Tussen die groot aankoopsgroepe, tussen Woolworths, Shoprite, ons kyk Pick n Pay wat reeds groot slagpale in die Weskaap gekoop het, oorgeneem het, dat hierdie ouens probeer tot 'n baie groot mate manipulasie toepas, om aan die einde van die dag hulle verkope nie drasties te punt. Die produksievolumes gaan definitief 'n rol speel vir jaar, ons gaan vinnig net met daaraan raak, produktiwiteit, wat nou aan die einde van die dag kalfpersentasies en speenpersentasie en dies meer insluit, vrugbaarheid, seisonaliteit en voorsiening is 'n groot probleem vir ons in Namibië. Groot dele van die jaar kan ons nie aan die mark se werklike kwaliteitsstandaarde voldoen nie. Beskikbare snitte en bruikbare snitte is iets wat die slagpalings en die verwerkers baie meer aandag gee en reeds gee op hierdie stadium om beter waarde uit 'n karkas te ontsluit. Ons gaan nog meer aandag daaraan moet gee. Karkasgewigte het ek vir u genoem. Ons gaan in Namibië baie beslis, veral met die laer koeigetalle moet kyk om weer te begin beweeg en kyk na om as ons produsente, ons kalwers definitief te background en van die backgrounding af self te voer op die veld of in 'n beperkte voerkraalomgewing af te rond om 'n meer eenvormige karkas daar te kan stel.
We are bringing to you In the Mix Africa, broadening our perspective, focusing on African players playing in Europe, playing in Africa, the inner workings of their craft, every single little thing. And also, very importantly, tasting African food with Patty. Are you ready for that?
Of course, we're going to broaden up our taste palettes and we're going to take it to the whole of Africa. We're not just going to stick here in Namibia. Of course, it's important to also appreciate Namibian culture and food, but we're going to broaden it up, like you say, and we're going to try everything.
That's right. So join us as we take you beyond borders for the love of sport with In the Mix Africa.
Okay, ek is Lombard en ek doen die show Ek wil boer. En die rede hoekom ek wil boer begin het is so 'n paar jaar terug het ek al, sê maar omtrent 20 jaar terug het ek al begin boer daar rondom ons huis en klomp tomaties en arbei en so aangeplant. En ek in die laaste 4 jaar het ek nou eers meer ernstiger begin boer wat ek bees doen en nou plant ek eie. So en die rede hoekom ek wil boer begin het is want ek het aan die begin baie gesukkel en ek het klomp skoolgeld betaal en baie foute gemaak en ek het gedink daar moet 'n makliker manier wees hoe om by kennis te kry by boere. So die boere daar buite sal wat 40, 50 jaar boer, het al hierdie kennis en ek het gedink kom ek gaan leer by hulle en kyk hoe hulle boer op hulle plaas, wat hulle plant, hoe hulle dit boer en al die kennis wat hulle kan oordra voor daai kennis wegraak een of ander dag. So ons gaan op die stadium gaan ons na plase toe, ons praat met die boere, ons gesels en leer by hulle van begin tot einde, soos asof jy 'n beginner boer is. Want ek is 'n beginner boer, so laat ek by hulle mooi kan leer om dit te doen. En die doel wat ons met Ek wil boer wil begin het, of die logo wat ons begin het, Ek wil boer, dit moet iets wees van kwaliteit en iets wat plaaslik gemaak word in Namibië en iets wat mense op kan trots wees. So ons wil Ek wil boer wil ons gebruik ook as vir mense wat ons ondersteun, wat ook hulle kennis deel, wil ons logo vir hulle gee as 'n Ek wil boer producer, sodat mense kan sien hierdie ou is 'n ou wat teruggee aan die land. Hy gee weer, hy produseer ook en hy deel ook sy kennis met ander mense. So Ek wil boer logo en dis vir ons iets wat baie belangrik is, iets wat trots is dat die Ek wil boer storie dan nou verder vorentoe gaan. So dit is wat ons wil bereik met die Ek wil boer video's. So dit is wat ek wil bereik met ons Ek wil boer logo. En hoekom ons dit ook ongelukkig het met sponsors nodig vir so iets, so as daar enige sponsors is, ook boere daar buite wat ons wil nooi om hulle kennis te deel, en ook sponsors wat vir ons wil help om by ons midpunt uit te kom, want dit is maar duur om na die plekke toe te ry en die goeders te doen. So ja, want boere is lekker en ons wil boer en ek wil ook boer.
Vertel so 'n bietjie van julle social media presence, waar is julle oralste, hoeveel mense is op julle page en daai tipe goede?
Op ons social media tans is ons op Facebook. Ons sit korter video's op Facebook en ook langer video's op Facebook. Ons het nou op die stadium so 19,000 followers op Facebook. ons is op Instagram wat nou nog nie so groot is nie. Ek sal 'n bietjie meer aandag daar moet gee. Maar ons is ook op One Africa, maandag aan 08:30. Ons begin ons eerste episodes. Ons is nou ook besig om die season 2 van Ek wil boer te skiet, wat dan nou baie meer professioneel is en ons het nou professionele span wat die editing doen en ook die video's dan nou doen.
En daar het julle dit vir hierdie week se Agri Monitor. Namibia has reopened its markets to US poultry imports after a 2022 ban, creating new opportunities while safeguarding local producers. Lombard Koch van Ek wil boer het sy reis gedeel om volhoubare boerdery deur innovasie en gemeenskapsbetrokkenheid te laat groei. Ons het ook van Sarel du Toit gehoor van die Groep oor die opwindende ontwikkelings in die landbousektor wat vars perspektiewe bring. Meanwhile, the Epalela aquafish farm is transforming into an integrated farming hub, linking aquaculture and crop production for stronger food security. And finally, Annette Oelofse made a powerful case for legalizing rhino trade as a vital tool to fund conservation and protect our rhinos. Dankie dat julle hier so by ons was. Bly ingeskakel vir meer stories oor Namibië se landbou.